Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to explore how to transform raw video into actionable coaching insights. My name is Jeremiah Johnson, and I'm currently the U13 ECNL boys coach with Minnesota Thunder Academy. I'm excited to share my approach to video analysis, specifically the part of the process that focuses on using data to drive training activities. Remember that everyone's coaching style and team needs are different, so you'll need to find what works best for you. Hopefully, what I share today will give you some ideas and inspiration to get started or enhance your current video analysis process. Coaches, let's face it, even the most experienced among us can only recall about half of the critical events that happen in a 45-minute game. Think about the implications of that. We're potentially missing out on crucial details that could impact our coaching decisions, our team's performance, and how we evaluate players. This is where the power of video analysis becomes undeniable. But video analysis has its challenges. Lack of support, time constraints, player engagement issues, limited technical know-how, and the feeling of being overwhelmed. These are all common problems, and we'll address them today. Video analysis might seem daunting at first, and I can assure you there's no easy button when it comes to video and data analysis. However, there are established processes and tools that can make it systematic, manageable, repeatable, and triggered by logical events. We'll explore those processes today, and you'll see how video analysis can become an integral part of your coaching toolkit. Let me share a bit about my background. I have a degree in management information systems. I've had a career that has included roles in data analytics, data warehousing, and business intelligence. I currently work in a marketing leadership role with a focus on marketing technology and digital marketing. But soccer has always been my passion. From high school to NCAA Division I to pre-professional, and now coaching youth soccer, I've seen the game from many angles. So, who is this presentation for? It's for coaches who want to use data to improve their team's performance. I'll show you my system for how I convert video into insightful actions I can take as a coach. Here's the roadmap for today's talk. Define your vision, set goals, capture video, normalize data, analyze trends, and drive training. The first two sections, define your vision and set goals, are planning activities that can lay the foundation for your coaching and your video analysis. This quote by Dr. Carrie Boley highlights the importance of having a clear focus for your video analysis. Trying to analyze everything at once can lead to information overload and a lack of actionable insights. It is crucial to be selective and intentional in what you choose to focus on. Defining your vision starts with a game model. This doesn't have to be overly complicated, especially when you're first starting. Begin with a simple statement that reflects how you want your team to play. Are you aiming for possession, direct attack, a strong defensive focus? As you and your team become more familiar with video analysis and your playing style, you can evolve this simple statement into a more comprehensive document, detailing your approach to attack, defense, and transitions. Remember, the key is to start somewhere. Having a clear vision, even in its simplest form, will guide your video analysis and make it more impactful. Let's revisit Dr. Boley's quote. The first step in any video analysis is to have a clear focus. Remember, we want to avoid getting overwhelmed with information. By being selective and intentional about what we analyze, we can extract the most valuable insights. A game model, while not necessary for beginner levels and junior age groups, it is crucial for coaches who want to coach at advanced levels. Without it, you won't know what to focus on in your sideline coaching, your session planning, or in your video analysis. It gives your analysis purpose and direction. This is a portion of a game model that I've developed for my team. The acronym of my principles is called HE: Hunt, Escape, Establish, Exploit, Tenacity. It is my vision for the game. But it's important to remember that your own game model may look different. You may have a different set of principles, sub-principles, and player actions that you use in your coaching. The matrix you see here illustrates one of the principles in my game model called Hunt. The vision behind Hunt is to press with purpose, recognizing triggers like poor touches to disrupt opponents and regain possession. By coordinating pressure and winning second balls, we force errors and create opportunities in high-pressure moments. That's my Hunt principle. Having this defined on paper helps me know what to focus on in my sideline coaching, my session planning, and in my video analysis. It gives my analysis purpose and direction. Now that you have a vision, let's set some goals. The objective of this planning exercise is to align or map metrics to your game model principles. This will make your life easier when your video analysis reveals metric-driven insight. You will know which metrics align with which aspects of your game model. This is what creates efficiency in planning sessions and activities for your team. When you're first starting with video analysis, it's a good idea to focus on generic metrics like shots attempted, shots on target, possession, and other standard data points. These metrics provide a solid foundation and help you track overall performance. As you gain more experience and refine your game model and get more comfortable with video analysis, you can start to incorporate custom measurables that are specific to your team's playing style and tactical approach. These custom metrics will allow you to delve deeper into your data and extract more granular insights. This slide shows how my game model principles in the left column align to metrics in the right column that I use as part of my video analysis. The blue rows represent metrics that are common in systems like HUDL and VEO. These metrics are readily available and provide a solid foundation for your analysis. The red rows, however, are custom measurables that are unique to my game model and will require additional time and effort to track through video. These custom metrics are where you can delve deeper into your data and extract more granular insights that are specific to your team's playing style and tactical approach. Now, let's take the next step in our planning process, which is to align goals to each metric we plan to measure in our video analysis. These goals or targets are always going to be specific to the team or teams we are coaching at that moment. For example, if our hunt principle is focused on disrupting opponents and regaining possession, we might set a target for our team to win at least 60% of second balls in the attacking third. Or, if our goal is to create more scoring opportunities, we might aim for an average of 10 shots on target per game. These goals will guide our video analysis and help us identify areas where our team is excelling and areas where we need to improve. By setting clear targets, we can turn our data into actionable insights that can be used to drive training and development. This slide shows a real example of how I use metrics and goals with my U13 boys ECNL team at Minnesota Thunder Academy. For the hunt principle, we're tracking metrics like second balls won. Our goal is to have our team win at least 60% of second balls during a game. For the establish principle, we're tracking metrics like possession percentage and passing accuracy. Our goal is to have our team achieve at least 51% of the possession and a passing accuracy of 70%. For the exploit principle, we're tracking a custom metric, marked in red, called advancements into the attacking third under control. Our goal is to have our team strive to advance into the attacking third under control at least 20 times per game. For the tenacity principle, we're tracking metrics like shots on target and shots attempted. Our goal is to have our team average at least 13 shots on attempted and 7 shots on target. These are just a few examples, and your own metrics and goals will vary depending on your team's specific needs and playing style. The important thing is to set clear and measurable goals that will help you track progress and identify areas for improvement. At this point in the process, I have completed my planning. The subsequent steps of the process are recurring throughout the season. With a vision defined and goals in place, it's time to capture some video. So, we got our plan in place. Now we need to actually capture the game footage. This slide covers the basics of what you'll need. In terms of tools, you'll need a camera, a tripod for stability, and a computer to store and analyze the footage. And, of course, you'll need someone to operate the camera. A human touch is still essential. There are various options for cameras, from dedicated video cameras to VO and huddle systems, or even just a smartphone or tablet in a pinch. The most important thing is to have a reliable setup that captures the action clearly. Remember, the quality of your video will directly impact the quality of your analysis. Capturing game footage efficiently requires a dedicated team. I recommend recruiting parent volunteers, student managers, interns, or assistant coaches to form your video team. This frees you up to focus on coaching during the game. Delegate responsibilities like equipment checkout and check-in, transportation of the equipment to and from the game, setting up and breaking down the camera and tripod, and uploading the footage after the game. Pro tip: get your team managers involved early in the season by tasking them with finding 2 to 3 parent volunteers who are willing to help with video capture. This will ensure you have a reliable video team throughout the season. Once you've assembled your video team, it's time to plan out your video capture calendar. Be realistic about how much video you can actually analyze and what's appropriate for your team's age and skill level. Consider questions like, do you have the capacity to analyze video after every game? Remember, it takes approximately 2 hours to properly analyze a single game, so factor that into your schedule. Is it necessary to film every game, or can you focus on a few key matches? Would it be beneficial to extend your analysis to training sessions or tryouts? Remember, it's crucial to start with a manageable workload, especially if you're new to video analysis. If you're just starting out, I suggest choosing 3 to 4 points during the season to capture video. This will ensure that you don't get overwhelmed and that you can actually use the insights from your analysis to improve your team's performance. Now that we've planned our video capture strategy, we're ready to move into the next phase of our process: normalizing the data. This is where we take the raw video footage and transform it into usable, actionable data. This is arguably the most impactful part of the process, as it lays the foundation for everything that follows. Now, let's dive deeper into data normalization. In essence, it's the process of converting the raw video data, those game recordings, into a standardized numerical format. We're essentially translating the actions on the field into quantifiable metrics that we can analyze. This is where we turn qualitative observations into objective data points. Why is this so crucial? Because it allows us to measure progress against our goals, track trends over time, and identify areas for improvement without bias. It's about creating a clear, objective picture of our team's performance. In simpler terms, data normalization is like tallying and tagging events from the video, passes, shots, tackles, etc., and storing them in a database or spreadsheet for analysis. It's the bridge between raw footage and actionable insights. Now, let's explore the different methods for normalizing video data. There are 3 main approaches: automated, manual, and hybrid. Automated methods use software or AI to tag and track events in the video. This can save a lot of time, but it might not capture all the specific details you're looking for. Manual tracking involves watching the video and recording data yourself using a spreadsheet or other tool. This gives you complete control, but it can be time-consuming. The hybrid approach combines the best of both worlds, using automated tools for basic stats and manual tracking for more specific custom metrics. We'll look at each of these methods in more detail in the following slides. Let's start with the high-end option: advanced automated data normalization. These comprehensive analytics platforms use AI and machine learning to dissect every single frame of your video, generating hundreds of data points. They track everything from field coordinates and player positioning to specific actions and how they were executed. The data is then stored in shareable file formats that can be further analyzed and visualized using coding languages like Python or R, or proprietary platforms like StatsBomb or Opta. While these advanced platforms offer incredibly detailed insights, they often require dedicated resources to manage. They often come with a hefty price tag, making them unrealistic for most youth soccer coaches. So, while they're fascinating, we'll move on to more accessible options. Let's move on to a more budget-friendly automated option: HUDL, HUDL Focus, and HUDL Assist. HUDL is the video platform. HUDL Focus is the unmanned artificial intelligence camera. HUDL Assist is the normalization service, often referred to as game breakdowns or video tagging. The HUDL Assist service provides a moderate level of video analysis. It automatically generates reports with stats like shots, passes, and possession, and drill downs into time of game and section of the field. The great news for us at MTA is that HUDL Assist is already included as part of our club and ECNL League subscription. This saves us a significant amount of money, as it would normally cost around $1,000 to process a 10-game season, on top of the HUDL subscription package costs. While HUDL Assist doesn't offer the same depth of analysis as the advanced platforms we discussed earlier, It's a valuable tool for coaches who are starting to dive deeper into video analysis or who have moderate budgets. Here's an example of the type of report you'd get from HUDL Assist. It breaks down the game into key metrics like shots, passes, possession, and more. You can see the totals for each team, as well as breakdowns by half or period. This information can be valuable for identifying trends and areas for improvement. In the next phase of the process, I will detail how I use this report to generate insights for my teams. Another automated option for data normalization is VO. VO's unmanned camera system automatically records and uploads your game footage to the cloud. It then uses AI to tag basic events like goals, shots, and corner kicks. For more in-depth analysis, VO offers a paid add-on called VO Analytics. This provides advanced metrics and visualizations similar to HUDL Assist. At MTA, we offer VO cameras as an option for our teams, but we don't include VO Analytics in our club package. That would be an additional cost for the team. So, VO can be a good choice for teams that want an easy-to-use automated solution, but it's important to be aware of the additional cost for advanced analytics. In my opinion, VO has a better unmanned camera than HUDL Focus. It is possible to record your games on a VO camera and upload that video into the HUDL platform for data normalization by Huddle Assist. Let's shift gears and look at the manual method for normalizing data. This is a hands-on approach where you create your own tracking sheets or spreadsheets, tailored to the specific metrics you want to capture. As you watch the video, you'll tally each instance of these metrics and take notes, including timestamps for easy reference. It's significantly more labor-intensive than automated methods, but it gives you complete control over what you're tracking and how you're analyzing it. You can create custom metrics that align perfectly with your game model and coaching philosophy. It's a great way to get granular and really understand the nuances of your team's performance. Here's an example of a simple tracking sheet I might use for manual data entry. It's not fancy, but it gets the job done. In this specific sheet, I track key metrics from a game against FC Pride. You can see I've got columns for things like second ball opportunities and wins, advancements into the attacking third under control, shots on target, goals, and assists. I'd fill this out in real time during the game or while reviewing the video footage afterwards, tallying each instance of these actions. This gives me a raw data set that I can then analyze to identify trends and areas for improvement. And here's a different tracking sheet I use for tracking individual passing accuracy. As you can see, it's focused on individual players and their passing stats. I track both successful passes and unsuccessful passes for each player throughout the game. With this data, I can calculate their individual passing accuracy percentage and see how they stack up against our team's target of 70% accuracy. This level of detail helps me pinpoint areas for improvement and tailor my coaching to individual needs. Here's another type of tracking sheet I use specifically for key moments and actions. This one isn't focused on raw numbers, but rather on qualitative observations. As I watch the video, I'll jot down notes about specific moments that stand out, along with the timestamp so I can easily find them again. This could be anything from a great defensive play to a missed scoring opportunity, or even a tactical adjustment that worked well. I can then use these notes to create video clips for film sessions that are aligned to game model principles and training activities, share with the team, or even use for individual player development. It's all about capturing those teachable moments and using them to drive improvement. Personally, I find the hybrid method to be the most effective for my workflow. It combines the speed and efficiency of automated tools like HUDL Assist or VO with the flexibility and customization of manual tracking. I use the automated tools to capture those standard stats, shots, corners, possession, the things that are easily tracked by the software. Then, I dive in manually to track those custom metrics that are specific to my game model. This saves me a ton of time while still giving me the detailed insights I need to drive my coaching decisions. It's all about finding the right balance and leveraging the strengths of both approaches. So, when I'm using the hybrid method, I kick things off by pulling data from the system-generated reports, like this one from HUDL Assist for a game against Indiana Elite FC. This gives me a quick overview of the game's key stats and saves me a ton of time compared to manually tracking everything. From here, I can dive deeper into specific areas of interest and manually track the custom metrics that are important to my game model. This allows me to combine the efficiency of automated tracking with the granularity of manual analysis. Using the hybrid method, I'll continue to leverage the efficiency of the automated reports. For example, I can quickly see the shots attempted, shots on target, goals, and assists for both the team and individual players, as well as the opposition. By clicking on the report link associated with these metrics, I can jump directly to the video clips of each shot. This allows me to categorize them further for my own analysis. Was it a shot on target? Did it result in a goal? Was there an assist involved? I can also use the shot chart provided in the report to visualize shot locations and identify patterns in our attacking play. The beauty of these reports lies in their interactive elements. The links within the report allow you to drill down directly into the video clips that make up a particular stat. This is incredibly helpful for refining your analysis. For instance, I might be particularly interested in free kicks in the attacking half, as these represent potential scoring opportunities. By clicking on the corresponding link in the report, I can quickly access all the free kicks and filter all the instances where my team had a free kick in the attacking half. This targeted approach saves me time and allows me to focus on the most impactful aspects of the game. Possession is a key metric that ties to the established principle in my game model. Passing accuracy for the entire team is a key metric that also ties to the established principle in my game model. While the HUDL assist report gives overall team passing accuracy, I need to break it down individually to see how each player is contributing. So, I'll use the report links as shortcuts to the tag video clips for each pass. This speeds up the process significantly compared to manually scrubbing through the entire game. I can then tally each player's unsuccessful passes, UNSP, and successful passes, SP. With those two numbers, I can calculate their individual passing accuracy percentage using the formula. Successful passes divided by the sum of successful passes plus unsuccessful passes. This allows me to see which players are meeting our 70% accuracy target and who might need extra focus and training. For those custom metrics that aren't automatically tracked, I leverage the filtering capabilities within the video platform. For example, if I want to analyze second balls won, I know those typically occur after events like corners, free kicks, goal kicks, throw-ins, and punts. So, I can use the filter function in HUDL to isolate those specific events and then manually review the clips to see if we won the second ball. This targeted approach is much faster than trying to find those moments by scrubbing through the entire game footage. By using filters strategically, you can quickly find the key moments that relate to your custom metrics and streamline your analysis process. Once I've filtered the video for the specific events I want to analyze, like corners or free kicks, I can then easily toggle through those tagged instances within the video timeline. As I review each clip, I'll document the results on my tracking sheet. For example, for second balls, I'll mark whether we won or lost the ball. For advancements into the attacking third, I'll note whether it was under control or not. This process allows me to quickly and efficiently gather the data I need for my custom metrics without having to watch the entire game multiple times. Okay, we've gathered our data. Now it's time to make sense of it all. This next section is all about analyzing trends, taking that raw data and uncovering the patterns and insights that can inform our coaching decisions. This is where we start to see the bigger picture and understand how our team is performing over time and in different situations. Let's dive in and see what the numbers tell us. All right, so now that we've normalized our data, we need a place to store it, a repository. Think of this as your data warehouse. This could be as simple as a spreadsheet or a more sophisticated database. At MTA, we're fortunate to have access to Google Workspace, which provides us with tools like Google Sheets and Google Drive to organize and store our data. This makes it easy to access and share information across our coaching staff. Remember, the key is to find a system that works for you and allows you to easily organize and access your data. This will make the analysis process much smoother and more efficient. This is the current scorecard I use to track my U13 ECNL team's performance. It includes both our macro goals for the season, which were defined collaboratively with the players, and our micro goals for each individual game. As we discussed earlier, these micro goals directly support the broader macro goals. You'll notice I use conditional formatting to color code the cells. This creates a heat map that visually highlights areas where we're succeeding, green, and areas where we need to improve, red. It's a quick and easy way to identify trends and see how we're tracking towards our overall objectives. HUDL also offers a scorecard feature that's similar to the Google Sheets scorecard I showed earlier. This is a great starting point for coaches who are new to video analysis. The advantage of the HUDL Goals report is that it automatically pulls data from your HUDL Assist reports, saving you time and effort. However, it does have limitations. It's not as flexible as a custom spreadsheet, and you can't track those custom metrics that are specific to your game model. So, while Huddle Scorecard is a good option for beginners, you might find yourself needing a more customizable solution as you become more familiar with video analysis and want to track more specific aspects of your team's performance. If you're using HUDL and want to try out their Goals report feature, you can find it under the Reports section of the platform. Just click on the Goals link in the navigation, and you'll be able to set up your scorecard. Remember, while it might not be as customizable as a spreadsheet, it's a solid option for those starting out with video analysis and utilizing the HUDL platform. Beyond the team-level trends, we also need to track individual player performance. This screenshot shows a sheet from my Google Workbook where I log game-by-game data for each player. Remember, one of our goals we set earlier was a passing accuracy of 70%? Here's where I can monitor that over time for each individual. By inputting their successful and unsuccessful passes each game, I can calculate their accuracy percentage and see if they're consistently hitting that target. This granular view helps me identify players who might need extra training on their passing, or those who are excelling and can be challenged further. Beyond the standard metrics and game model-specific data, I also like to track more nuanced aspects of the game. Here's an example of a sheet I use to track penalty kick success rates. I log both match and training data to see how players perform under pressure and in practice scenarios. This information can be invaluable when making decisions about penalty takers in future games. It's all about finding those little edges that can make a big difference. While video analysis offers a wealth of insights, it's important to remember that player development isn't solely about game performance. I also track individual progress over time using simple drills and skills assessments. These aren't directly tied to video analysis, but they provide valuable quantitative data that I can share in player evaluations. This data allows me to show players how they've improved over time and how they compare to their peers. It also helps me identify areas where individual players need additional focus and attention. By combining video analysis with these other forms of assessment, I can create a more holistic picture of each player's development and create targeted training plans to help them reach their full potential. All right, we've defined our vision, set our goals, captured and normalized our data, and analyzed the trends. Now it's time for the payoff, using those insights to drive our training sessions. This is where the rubber meets the road. We're going to take that data and translate it into actionable steps that will help our players improve and our team succeed. Let's get into the details. Let's take a look at a real-world example of how I use video analysis to drive training. In this case, my U13 ECNL team had conceded an average of 5.5 goals across 2 games, more than double our goal, and was allowing an average of 10 opponent shots on target, again, double our goal. These metrics directly tied back to my Hunt game model principle and more specifically, the sub-principle of defensive compactness. The actionable coaching decision that resulted from this analysis was to dedicate a full week of training sessions to pressure cover balance principles and to implement some tactical changes. The good news is that since then, both of those problem metrics have been trending lower. This demonstrates the power of video analysis to identify areas for improvement and make targeted adjustments that lead to tangible results on the field. Remember that tracking sheet I showed you earlier for noting specific video timestamps and key moments? This is where it becomes incredibly valuable. In this specific example, I had identified two video clips that directly correlated with the hunt principle and the defensive compactness subprinciple. These clips provided concrete evidence of where our defensive shape was breaking down and where we were struggling to win those second balls. By using these clips in our pre-training film sessions, I am able to visually demonstrate the issues to the players and provide them with targeted feedback. This made the training more focused and effective, and it helped the players understand exactly what they needed to improve on. Having these specific video clips readily available is key for effective training. I can easily share these two clips, which highlight our defensive breakdowns, before our training session or during a film review. We can use platforms like HUDL or VO to share, or I can quickly clip the relevant segments using a tool like Apple QuickTime. The beauty of using video clips is that they're short, easily digestible, and directly relate to the training focus. This helps the players visualize the problem and understand exactly what we're working to correct. It bridges the gap between analysis and action, making the training session more impactful and relevant. Once I identified the problem areas and had supporting video clips, I turned to my library of training sessions and activities. In this case, I pulled out specific pressure cover balance content that directly addressed the issues we saw in the video analysis. The table on this slide shows how everything connects: the flag metrics from the video, the associated game model principle and subprinciple, and the resulting training session theme. This ensures that my training sessions are directly informed by the data and aligned with my overall coaching philosophy. Remember, the goal is to create a feedback loop where video analysis drives targeted training, which in turn leads to improved performance on the field. Let's walk through another real-world use case on how we can drive training from video analysis. Here's another real-world example, this time focused on our established principle, which emphasizes controlled possession and high percentage passing. Looking at the heat map for our early season games, it was clear that our passing percentages were below our 70% target in 3 of the first 4 games, all of which we lost. This was a major red flag. Digging deeper, I could see that certain players were consistently performing below our passing accuracy goal. This insight directly informed my coaching decisions. I dedicated a full week of training to key areas of possession-based decision-making, focusing on prioritizing short, safe passes and avoiding high-risk passes. I also worked individually with the players who were struggling with their passing accuracy. By using the data to pinpoint the issue and tailor my training accordingly, I was able to help the team improve their passing and ultimately their overall performance. My individual stats scorecard, like the one shown here, is crucial for identifying which players need the most support. By tracking each player's passing accuracy over multiple games, I can quickly see who's consistently hitting the target and who's falling short. This allows me to tailor my coaching and provide targeted feedback to those who need it most. Remember, it's not just about identifying problems. It's about finding solutions and helping each player reach their full potential. Remember that tracking sheet I showed you for noting specific video timestamps? This is where it comes in handy again. For this use case, I've identified a couple of video clips that highlight moments where our passing wasn't up to par. Maybe a forced action that led to a turnover, or a missed opportunity to connect a simple pass. I can reference these clips during our film session to visually reinforce the areas we need to work on. It's much more impactful for players to see their own mistakes and successes on video, rather than just hearing about them. This way, they can better understand the coach's feedback and make the necessary adjustments. Just like in our previous use case, having specific video clips that exemplify the issue at hand is incredibly powerful. In this scenario, I've identified a couple of clips that highlight moments where we forced an action to turn instead, playing a high percentage pass, and an example of successfully playing away from pressure. These clips, which I can share through platforms like HUDL, VO, or by quickly clipping them using QuickTime, make the feedback more concrete and impactful for the players. They can see exactly what went wrong and what they need to do differently. The clips are short, easy to digest, and directly relevant to the training session, which helps reinforce the key learning points. Once I'd pinpointed the passing issues and identified specific players who needed extra attention, I designed training sessions to address those areas. I focused on key principles like play the way you face the way you want to play, and play away from pressure. These concepts directly tie into our possession-based game model and aim to improve decision-making and passing accuracy. The table on this slide outlines how we progressed from the initial problem, low passing percentage, to the solution, targeted training sessions. By aligning the training with the specific needs identified through video analysis, we ensure that our sessions are purposeful and impactful. Here's a final use case on some insight pulled from our team scorecard. Here's an interesting use case that highlights how video analysis can sometimes raise more questions than answers. Looking at the heat map, it's clear that we haven't been awarded a single penalty kick all season. While I have this metric aligned with my game model principles, I'm honestly not sure how to directly train for this outcome. It's a bit of a conundrum. Penalty kicks are often the result of spontaneous actions in the box, rather than something you can consistently replicate in training. So, this is where I'm looking for ideas and input. If anyone has suggestions on how to train to earn more penalty kicks, I'm all ears. It's a great example of how video analysis can spark discussion and collaboration among coaches. Here's how video fits into my overall coaching methodology. It's a four-step process. 1. Use video and data to identify training needs. This is where we leverage video analysis to pinpoint areas for improvement, both for the team as a whole and for individual players. 2. Use my game model to tie to the metrics. By aligning the data with our game model, we ensure that our analysis is focused and purposeful and that our training sessions are aligned with our overall vision. 3. Periodize appropriately. This involves planning our training sessions in a structured and progressive way, taking into account the team's needs and the time of year. I have a detailed periodization plan that guides our training throughout the season. I script tactical periodization for the first portion of a season and utilize video analysis and insights to help drive training topics once we have a foundation of fundamentals or to fix glaring issues. 4. Leverage the library of sessions and activities. Over the years, I've built up a library of training sessions and activities that I can draw upon to address specific needs. This saves time and allows me to deliver high-quality training sessions that are tailored to my team's specific requirements. By following this methodology, I'm able to use video analysis and data to drive my coaching decisions and create a more effective and enjoyable learning experience for my players. So, to recap, this is the high-level process I use to go from raw video footage to actionable coaching insights. Remember, it's all about starting simple and gradually layering in complexity as you become more comfortable with the process. You'll learn what works best for you and your team along the way. Don't be afraid to experiment and try new things. And if you have any questions or need help getting started, please feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to share my experiences and help other coaches leverage the power of video analysis. That brings us to the end of the presentation. I hope you found it informative and valuable. If you have any questions about anything we've covered today, or if you'd like to discuss your own video analysis process, please don't hesitate to reach out. My contact information is on the screen. Remember, we're all in this together. Let's keep the conversation going and continue to collaborate to make video analysis a valuable tool for player development and team success.